In this video, we will be talking about summarizing distributions of univariate data. When trying to find measures of center of univariate data, there are two options. Mean is the balance point, at which a curve would balance if it was made out of solid material. Mean is not resistant, meaning it is affected by outliers. Median is the density curve, or the equal areas point at which a curve is divided in half by area, also known as the 50th percentile. Median is resistant, meaning that it is not affected by outliers. When measuring position, quartiles in addition to the median are calculated by arranging all data points in increasing order. The first quartile is the middle number of values that are less than the median. The third quartile is the middle number of values that are greater than the median. First quartile represents the 25th percentile because 25% of the data is below this value. Third quartile represents the 75th percentile because 75% of the data is below this value. The nth percentile of a dataset is when n% of the data falls below that value. For example, the 56th percentile is when 56% of the data falls below that value and 46% are above it. Z-score is a standardized score that defines how many standard deviations above or below the mean a certain data point is. Thus, the formula x minus mean over standard deviation.
Now we have the measures of spread. There are range, IQR, and standard deviation. To calculate the range, you take the maximum minus the minimum. For this data set, you would take the maximum 11 minus the minimum of 1 to get a range of 10. Then, for the IQR, you would take the Q3 minus the Q1. In this case, it would be 9 the Q3 minus 3 the Q1, so you get an IQR of 6. To calculate the standard deviation, you can use tools like the empirical rule, the z-score equation, or your calculator. Next is the interpretations of standard deviation and z-score. To interpret the standard deviation, you could say the typical distance of the values in a distribution from the mean is blank amount and then use the units in context. For the z-score, you could say the value is blank standard deviations above or below the mean.
When performing linear transformations by adding or subtracting a constant, measures of center, such as mean, median, quartiles, and percentiles, change by adding or subtracting the same constant, while measures of shape and spread do not change. When multiplying or dividing by a constant, for example, changing units of time or distance, measures of spread and center are multiplied or divided by the same constant, while the shape of the distribution does not change. So you may be wondering how you can get the calculator to do some of this work for you. So first, you're going to go to Stat. Then you're going to click Edit, and you're going to make a list in List 1 and enter values. You're going to go back to Stat, and you're going to click Calc, and then you're going to click one var stats. And as you can see, most of the things we've been talking about in this video, like standard deviation, the 5-number summary, which includes the quartiles, median, min, and max, will be found here. If you would like any additional AP Exam practice FRQs, try AP Exam 2009 Question 1 or AP Exam 2011 Question 1.